Hello GutSquad and welcome back to my channel. This is Cecily, as always. Today is going to be a review of the Ostomy subreddit, which is called r/ostomy. And it's one of my places to hear people vent about their ostomies, to hear people ask questions about their ostomies, which is usually what happens on that subreddit. It's definitely one of my favorite subreddits. I follow a few, but it's not only informative, but it's also kind of amusing. There are some interesting posts on there, and a lot of people share very cool experiences with their ostomies, some more unpleasant experiences with their ostomies, and all kinds of things in between. So I really enjoy going on there and kind of venting about my own situation, as well as hearing about other people's situations and answering their questions if I can, if I actually have anything to say about it. If you're in the category of really wanting to learn more about ostomies and connect with people who have ostomies, I would recommend that you guys all go and join the subreddit because it's a very fun time and the community is just great. There's a lot of positivity on there and a lot of people who share really endearing things from their life with an ostomy. I picked out some posts that I thought were interesting and I kind of wanted to touch on, give my 2 cents on them. I'm going to be referring to my phone quite a bit in this video because I have not memorized all of these posts. Normally I don't like to be looking at something else while I'm filming, so I hope that the Spider-Man pop socket does not distract you too much. Okay, does anyone else's bag leak a bit at the bottom? I have a Hollister 2-piece system with a Velcro thing at the bottom to close it. I have noticed that it always seems to leak a very small amount, like sometimes on my pants, especially brighter ones where it's easier to see, there's a small spot of poop there. Or on my sheets, I see spots and I don't know where the leak is from because there's no actual leak. Does this happen to anyone else? What is the solution? Do I need to try a different type of bag, or is there a way to stop this? I have this exact same problem. Now, to be fair, the reason I have this problem is because I don't always clean my spout perfectly. I usually do. I mean, 99% of the time I do clean my spout very well, but I don't always. And that's when this problem tends to happen. So when you are cleaning your Velcro spout, make sure that you're getting the sides, the little nooks and crannies in it. Make sure you're getting everything, because even a little bit of that will tend to cause some leakiness and some leakage onto your bed, your clothes, literally anything. I've leaked on things that has been so annoying because I knew that it wasn't leaking from the wafer. So I would say the best thing to do is to maybe switch up your bag, maybe switch to a type of bag that's a little bit easier to clean the spout, but that tends to, again, be a result of not cleaning the spout appropriately. And yes, it has absolutely happened to me, and it's always very, very embarrassing when it does.
Okay, so I wanted to put in a little quick insert here to show you guys how I clean the spout of my Coloplast bag. First, I open it, and then I take a thick wad of toilet paper and rub it around the edges of the spout, making sure I get all the little nooks and crannies in there. It can be hard to do sometimes, especially if you're exhausted and not paying attention. So get it very thoroughly cleaned, make sure there's no moisture left in the spout. Then I actually take another piece of the toilet paper and I repeat this process, but on the back side. Sometimes there's a back side and it can be easy to let some moisture accumulate there if you're not very careful. I wipe around the edges and just on the face of the spout, and I'm going back over it to be sure. Blow out all the air, and there you have it, all clean.
So this one says, no more discharge, should I be worried? I am in end ileostomy state with my rectum still inside. Post-surgery I had discharge once every 2 days for several months from the bottom end. However, over the last several weeks I've had no discharge at all. I have an appointment with the PA in a few days and am a bit worried. Did my rectum stop producing mucus, or is there a blockage and is it accumulating inside of my body? I like the fact that there is no more sensation of urgency to run to the bathroom to release the discharge every 2 days, but I'm also worried, is it going somewhere that it shouldn't be going? Did you guys continuously produce discharge, or did it settle down after a while? I'm rescheduling my second appointment for the rectum removal and creation of the J pouch, but super scared. I know the second surgery will be the hardest. Discharge from your rectum tends to level off with time, so I'll explain a little bit. I still have my anus and rectum intact because I just got my colon removed, and the end ileostomy, the ileostomy itself, is just attached to the abdominal wall, and the rectum and anus are just kind of floating there, as with a lot of other ileostomates that I've known of, and colostomates as well. My rectum tends to discharge mucus once a month, if not a little bit more than that. So having it every 2 days is something that I would say is typical for your very first weeks post-op. And I wouldn't expect that every 2-day urge to continue for very long. Everything I've heard from people who talk about their anal rectal discharge after getting an ostomy and no longer using their anus and rectum say like, okay, at first there was a ton of discharge. I was having a lot of discharge. Some of it was even bloody. And then as my months post-op started to progress and my recovery went swimmingly, hopefully, and everything was sort of going back to like a baseline state of normal, that discharge significantly dropped off. So that has been my experience personally. I started off with a ton of discharge. I thought like, this is such a weird feeling. What the hell is going on right now? I feel like I have to poop, but I don't have any poop. Like, what is this? And it really freaked me out initially. So I didn't like the urgency feeling either. And I still get it. I still get it. In fact, I just passed a discharge plug the other day and it was quite fun. But anyway, my point is the amount that you're discharging will get less with time. And as with most things in your GI, your rectum and your anus, specifically the rectum, start to adapt to their new environment, their new use, their new function. So if you're not using your rectum as much, it's just not getting as much traffic as it used to, then it simply won't create as much mucus as it used to. And that mucus plug, that mucus bulb that you might get every 2 days when you're first post-op will become like every month, every 2 months even, I've heard of. A lot of people don't get them very often at all. So it goes person by person, but this person's anxiety is not necessarily misplaced. I would say that it's a good thing to talk about with your doctor if you notice like a stark decrease in output from your anus or rectum. So talk about it. But again, if it's just something that you're wondering like, hey, is this normal for it to go down over time? Yes, I would say that it is absolutely normal for the amount of discharge to reduce over time and usually get like less bloody over time as well. That was my experience. Okay, next question. It says gas. Ileostomy. I am still trying to figure out what foods I can and cannot eat. I got my ileostomy Thursday and I'm on a low res diet and have been sticking to it, but I still have quite a bit of gas as well as a lot of farts. We've all been there. Is there any way to muffle the sound? It's embarrassing. Okay, so first of all, don't be embarrassed. It's totally fine. Everyone farts. I know that that's like hard to do and easy to say, but it's something that you will get more and more used to with time. The sensation of gas coming out of your ostomy is also like a strange sensation, so I get why you'd want to reduce that. The first few weeks after your operation, you're probably gonna have a lot of gas, and there are a few reasons for that. The first one is honestly, in my experience, just the meds. The meds that they put you on, specifically the anesthetics and the pain meds, will tend to just make your GI very sluggish, which tends to make more gas production. This person's only like, you know, about a week out or so. I would say that's normal. It's normal to have a lot of gas after you first come out of your operation for the first even few weeks or even months. I've heard of people having months of just ridiculously high gas output. The good news is that there are a few medications that I can say help with this, and the best one that I've found by far is Phazyme, aka Gas-X, and it's really just simethicone. Simethicone is a type of medication that you can take. It's over the counter as far as I know. I take it every single day before I eat anything. It just helps consolidate the gas into these like larger bubbles instead of having like a bunch of little bubbles all over your GI tract, and it makes you fart less frequently. It makes you output gas much less frequently. So if you're worried about the frequency of the gas because you're embarrassed or it's uncomfortable or whatever, Gas-X is probably the best one that I could recommend just from being an ostomate as well and experiencing issues with gas myself. But yeah, your gas will go down as you heal and as your GI kind of returns to a normal new baseline. So this is an interesting one. It says, do you have low energy levels? I have UC pretty bad to the point where I might need surgery. Do you have low energy levels with an ostomy? Great question. I think, have lower energy levels than I did when I was, say, like 16 to 19. When I was 19, I lost my colon. I got my ostomy 2 years ago. I really was struggling with energy levels before I got my ostomy. So having an ostomy didn't change my energy levels too much. In my last video, I talked about how the colon is a hugely important organ, not just because it helps you reabsorb water from your stool, which is pretty much its primary function besides storage of stool, but it also hosts a number of microorganisms that help you get the most out of your food and synthesize vitamins like B vitamins that you don't really make on your own. So that is a metabolic reason that you might be suffering from low energy levels if you have an ostomy. And this person who's asking, who's looking at getting one, if they have UC and it's bad, they probably need to get the ostomy. It will give them so much more control over their condition, and it will give them a lot more freedom and license to go out and do the things that they used to love to do and that might energize them, like working out, for instance. But not having a colon tends to lead to lower energy levels. My colon was pretty much rotted out and finished by the end. I think that the listlessness and the fatigue that I felt from about 19 to like now is probably just from having lost such an important organ. That's not to say that I would trade my life for anything. That old colon was just a mess for me, and it wasn't doing anything for me really at all, besides storing up stool for too long, I might add. I had horrible crippling constipation for the entirety of my time with a colon. It was a very good decision for me to get an ostomy, and the lower energy levels come from having my colon removed, I think, more than having the ostomy, if that makes sense. So if your colon is diseased and it's not working for you anymore, and it's got UC or it's got Crohn's or something like that, I say get rid of the damn thing. It will give you a better lifestyle than you had probably before when you were really sick, but do expect a little bit of an energy drop off, because that was my experience personally. Okay, this one's actually really nice and wholesome, and it's just one of the reasons I love this subreddit. So it says, got my life back. So I turned 32 today. I'm in my second year of having an ileostomy, same, and I'm finally able to live the life I thought I had lost. The 10 years plus of severe colitis and constant hospitalizations really took its toll on me. I just wanted to thank this community for the support and information I've been able to find here. Really helped me get back through the tough times. I went back and finished my university degree last year. I found a full-time job at my local hospital and have been with my partner for over half a year now. All things I didn't think I'd ever have again. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I couldn't agree more with this person. So for everyone who just got their ostomy or is thinking about getting one, I can't speak highly enough of mine. I feel like it's really given me a new lease on life. It's helped me get back to my own version of normal, and despite the number of hospitalizations I have had over the past 2 years, I think it's kept me out of the hospital more than it's kept me in the hospital. Having an ostomy tends to be a really scary transition. It's a big change, but I don't think it's a devastating one. And it will tend to let you do the things you used to love to do. I hear a lot of people say that they couldn't really eat before, and they couldn't really go out and enjoy time with friends and family because they were always running to the bathroom if they had Crohn's and colitis, and they had really bad diarrhea issues. The ostomy gives you sort of control when you might not have had it before. My biggest issue before my ostomies were volvuli, which is a kinking of the intestines that happens for God only knows what reason. They still haven't quite figured that out in my case, but also the incontinence that I was experiencing. It was just devastating. It was awful, and I'm not the type of person who likes to admit defeat, but incontinence really gave me one of the hardest times of my life and one of the most depressive times of my life. When I started college, I really struggled with being incontinent in my freshman year and my sophomore year. I thought that it was shameful and sad. It was a sad time in my life. But I look back on it now and I just say to myself, I've come a really long way. I feel a lot more confident about myself. I feel more confident about my body even, because I used to have to wear diapers and I felt really ugly for a long time, like pathetic. And I don't think that's the right way to look at it, even if you are still in the position of having incontinence. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I learned that too late, unfortunately. I learned it later than I should have, that it's okay to be incontinent. It's okay to struggle. But having the ostomy, like I said, it's similarly to this person, which I think is so nice that they shared their positive experience. It gives you a level of control over your condition that I don't think many people would have without the option to get a bag. All right, well, that is it for me in this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave me down below if you liked this type of video, if you want me to do more Reddit reviews. I would love to answer questions if you guys want to put yours in the comments based on my experiences, of course. I'm not a doctor or nurse or anything along those lines, but I love answering questions from fellow ostomates if you feel so inclined. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at @the_gut_squad, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Hope you are all staying healthy, happy, happy, safe, and hydrated in this hot, sweaty time, at least in my part of the world. Bye, GutSquad!